G'day, mate, and welcome to, well, a very different video. An hour before Update 1 actually released, I had a chance to interview Philip from Mafia Games and ask him questions about Update 1, as well as what's coming next for the game, and also, you know, the map editor that didn't make it into this version, what's going to be happening with that going forth. Now, unfortunately, with both the devs being very busy trying to squish the final bugs in the hours before release, along with the stream starting at 2 AM by local time, neither of us had a chance to try and double check the audio beforehand. So I am the first to admit that the audio is less than perfect. The good news is it was fixed as the stream continued, as I found all the right buttons to tweak and turn as we continued with the interview. But with that out of the way, I, Energetic, need to leave you with the developer interview. But before I do that, can I ask one little thing? Can I just borrow a like? Not because the audio was perfect, but because I got up at 2 AM to get this interview for you guys. And very quickly, before my Energetic runs off, I do want to mention that the playthrough of Death Island will continue on Twitch every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The times are on your screen. If you can't catch me live, you'll find the videos on my second channel, being Jedi Raw, for the uncut versions. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get on with the developer interview. Turn JD down, the dev up. Wanderer on Wanderer. I have. Are we good? As far as I can tell, we're both at about the same level. So, we have the wonderful Captain Philip here. All right, we should hopefully. No, I don't see it. Well, I don't see it. Why? How did I mess this up?
Thanks for having me. It's
there we go.
over until the launch.
Well, yeah, till the launch, which is what, 57 minutes away.
Yeah.
You're not at all excited, are you?
Well, luckily we did the Canaries testing, so I'm kind of hopeful. It's not gonna go downhill.
No dread at all. No dread at all.
Yeah.
So, I'm lucky enough that we get to actually look at Update 1, and there's been a lot of changes. I put up a community poll a couple of days ago for which map I should be playing on, and the Pirate Island won out. So I'm going to become a pirate.
Oh.
Hello, my friend.
It's a hard one, actually.
Stay a while and listen.
I know it's a hard one. Captain Mystery Discord has been fiending for this update. Oh, they have.
Hello, my friend.
Watching
Stay a while and listen.
And I don't know if I can change the notification sound levels. I don't think I can. That's all right. Jenny likes the pain. Yeah, I do. Can I do that? The joys of audio levels. All right. So, Philip, now you're here. I'm trying to find, is that the volume? That should be the volume for Philip. Hopefully that fixes it. Notifications louder than voice. Excellent. Cool. Whilst I try and fix things, I gotta ask, so there's three of you, there's three devs now over at, is it Mafia Games?
Yes, exactly.
I got the pronunciation right.
Names. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure we have a pronunciation. It's just a abbreviation of our names. That's how we. It sounds like mafia, though. Sometimes people write mafia. I'm like, no, we're not a mafia.
Well, it depends. You did kidnap 90 people and the captain of a ship and dump them on an island.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Just saying, you know.
Well, yeah, we don't even know why people are on that island. We have to
know
figure
you
it
guys
out.
haven't written a storyline for it yet.
We tried and we failed. we need to try again, probably. It's tricky.
I just say it's because of a nuclear disaster or a flooding of the world or some other natural disaster that went bad. Is this already the new update? Ducton, this is the new update, but it doesn't come out for you guys for another 54 minutes. We're waiting on Marek to click the button. He clicks the button. He's got to click the button, and it's going to happen in 54 minutes. So, got to be patient.
He also has to find the button. That's the important part.
Oh, you got to find the button as well. Yeah. We want to make you an offer you can't refuse. We're going to send you off to a wonderful island. Okay, so with 3 devs, I got to ask. Oh, plus, of course, we have Zuff, the community manager. So there's you, there's Marek, there's Jeremy, which you hired 6 months ago, I want to say.
Was November. Yeah, November.
Yeah, which was...
You're right, 6 months. Wow, yeah.
I'm not at all obsessed about this wonderful game. At all. So... I gotta say, like, who's in charge of what? Because I know Jeremy handles a lot of the optimizations, and that's one of the reasons he was hired on.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I wouldn't say anyone is in charge. It's just the pure chaos.
Perfect.
But Jeremy delivered lots of awesome things for this update. It's definitely the tree planting, the vertical pipes that people love, optimizations. So yeah, he did lots of things. Marek worked on the terrain. He did the terrain revamp. That's basically why we had to wipe these saves. So you can play Marek.
I'm totally gonna blame Marek. We're happy to throw. Marek's not here. We're happy to throw him under the bus.
Yeah, sure. Maybe he's listening, but yeah, who knows? But yeah, so it's kind of divided. But then we had the graphical update. So Jeremy worked, for instance, on the new stamps, and there was also some infrastructure behind that to implement. So yeah, it was kind of distributed. So yeah.
So
the map. Yep.
Yeah, I got the first question from chat. Rubble asks, question for the devs: how much did Jetty breaking / exploiting things change the course of development? Like, I noticed that chain storage was thoroughly nerfed. Thanks.
Yeah, so we try to revoke JD's keys, but he always comes back. And so we realized, well, maybe we need to fix these things. So, for instance, the chain storage that's something. We knew about this, but then you made the video. I'm like, okay. And so yeah, we improved that. I think we didn't like the part that it didn't consume any electricity. That was something that we didn't find immersive mostly.
Okay. But the question I have is a tier 4 storage or a tier 3 storage. Can I still output 3 belts at T3 speeds and not run into a throughput limit? 4 belts. They have 4 belts.
We'll have to look into the code. Give me just a minute. The T4 definitely supports.
Stay a while and
all
listen.
4 belts. The T3, well.
Faz, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to a lovely stream with me and we have
the
Philip.
T3 might struggle. The T3 probably takes 3 T3 belts.
Oh, so upgrading our storage just gives them higher throughput.
Yes.
Oh, see, that's an important thing that we should all know, so I can better exploit the system. Sorry, I meant bug test. Yes, bug test.
No, but they also consume more power. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where I stand on the whole power thing. I'm very happy that technically belts use less power, but then storage is going to use power, which is going to complicate things.
Yeah, but I think it makes sense because normally when the truck arrives, you could probably believe that the trucker loads it. But when there's no one there and the storage doesn't want any workers, and there's belts coming, I think the question is like, where's the magic happening? So the power kind of makes sense.
I just believe that somebody's got to turn the lights on so, they know how to get things away into the storage depot properly. Yep, that's my belief. All right, before we get too carried away, map selection, we're going to play a brand new game on the Insula Mortes map. Obviously, my game seed is going to be Can I Borrow a Like, which luckily, here on Twitch, you don't have to give me a like, but you can click follow by all means. And we're going to jump straight into, update 1, which has changed quite a lot. Actually, I remember a recent patch you guys threw in.
Stay a while and listen.
Which was the changelog was so long that it couldn't be displayed in the game, so you had to patch the game to display the whole changelog. Is that right?
Stay a while and listen.
Yeah.
It was pretty massive. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like 1,800 characters or something.
Hello, my friend.
Still, there's not everything in the changelog, so. Yeah.
The changelog's still missing things, is it?
Yeah. Like especially the balancing, it was impossible to find all these things up. So, yeah.
Well, we've had the Canary build up on Discord for a little while, and you've gone through what 4 patches from memory in the last week.
Yes. I think
Hello, my
we were
friend.
like smashing
Stay a
probably
while
10
and
to
listen.
15 bucks daily.
Okay. And one of my questions in my list is, what was the most interesting bug? I'm not going to narrow it down to just this one, but from all the different updates, what's been the let's go with the funniest bug. The funniest bug so far.
Well,
Hello, my
one was
friend.
kind of funny
Stay
is
a
that
while
we
and listen.
didn't have proper configuration on the emission textures for vehicles. So if you would every time you would
Hello,
reload the
my
game, the
friend.
lights on the
Stay a
vehicles got
while and
stronger
listen.
and stronger. So if you would reload a few times, you would basically have a supernovas driving around the island.
Nice!
That was kind of funny. And, like the most horrible bug probably was it was on their EA launch date a year ago. There was some bug in Unity in how they rescale textures, and it didn't work with our terrain, but we never hit it because it only happened on some potato PCs.
Oh.
But what happened was that we suddenly lost all the textures and the island was white. So that was a tough day.
Okay. I missed that one. I've seen one from the current update where we had a storage containers were rapidly filling and emptying, and I think Mad Professor grabbed that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That made life a little bit interesting. Yes. Okay. So I wanted to ask you guys, well, who was in charge of working out how nuclear reactors work? Because we've had nuclear reactors have. Well, actually, can I bring up a recipe list and see nuclear reactors? Probably not. No. I can't even bring up tech yet. I can bring up tech. Cool. We have nuclear reactors have been thoroughly overhauled with the MOX reactor and also the fast breeding reactor right at the end of the tech tree, like after rockets. So who is in charge of working out how a nuclear reactor works?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I should admit that it's me because I'm. You sound like you want to ask some tough questions.
No. I just want to know who is in charge of trying to work out how a nuclear reactor works in real life and then translate it across to how it works in a game. Because yes.
It's me, and it's kind of tricky. I don't have a physics background, so I kind of have to look it up, and internet is full of confusion. So I was sitting in this for like 4 days, and it was going through my head for several weeks, and then we kind of came up with this. And it's especially hard because there's lots of misinterpretation around the nuclear energy. You know, some people say, well, it's because of nuclear weapons we don't have these awesome reactors. Some people say, well, it's because they really don't work well. And so you kind of try to figure out what's the real thing. And what I learned is that players like perfect things. So, you know, when we provided the spent fuel and said, well, you have to store it for thousands of years, people were like, well, but I don't want this. I want this perfect, right? And so
Yes.
so
People want a perfect system that always.
Yeah.
They wanted to make self-sustaining islands. I found that to be very popular. Yeah. Which is going to be very awkward to do when you have thousands of pieces of nuclear waste hanging around for potentially forever.
Yes.
Come on, Treehouse, get moving. Okay, I got another question from chat. Now the map is so much bigger, can we expect you to have plans for some groundbreaking content, like trains or ships that can haul within the map? I want to add to that, modes of transport. I know you guys have said in the past trains were a big no-no, just because the islands were not big enough, but that's changed.
Yeah, I don't think it was a big no-no. It's just that since the day we launched, people ask about trains.
Oh yeah, I've seen the train question 1,000 times. Yep.
And I understand that, like, trains are nice, but I think we just need to really build the game and prepare content mechanics and performance, everything. Like, we need to invest in areas before we start piling features on features. And so that's why we probably were not really keen on suddenly jumping on trains, and we'll probably monitor how far we get before we commit to bigger features like this. So for instance, with the big islands, as you've mentioned, this is mainly thanks to Mark. He did great work on improving the terrain representation. So right now we are not limited on the island size in the terrain engine, but we have solved some other limits still. For instance, the logistics, because the pathfinding for a massive island is tricky. And
I
so
hate pathfinding issues more than once.
Yeah, and we're gonna work on that, but obviously at some point we will need to figure out how we're gonna break down this massive island into, for instance, some logistics areas or something, because at the end of the day, like, even if the pathfinding would be perfect, it would still be weird that a truck decides to drive 100 kilometers somewhere to pick up some iron, right? So
well, if the truck had roads and highways, that would make sense, right?
Yeah, that's also true. That's also
That's not been a feature that's been requested since day one. Yep.
Yes. So yeah, these things probably combine well together, and so once we kind of have this resolved, then the islands could be definitely much bigger.
Yeah, well, Zuff is saying that he brings up trains every single team meeting, and I have to say, Zuff, have a look at aerial ropeways. I think aerial ropeways would actually fit Captive Industry 100%, because all they do is bring resources essentially down a hill. And I think for Captive Industry, especially as the aerial ropeways were used in like the 1800s, 1900s, etc., they'd fit perfectly, and potentially, if set up correctly, you could get free power out of them. Great early game setup.
Always, yeah.
Yeah. I like that idea, because I've had
you are
people
somehow obsessed with free power, right? You want
no. Early game. Early game. Lots of things have changed when it comes to power. Lots of things have changed. The diesel generator is the same efficiency, but the Mark II generator is slightly more efficient. Lots of things have changed with power, but aerial ropeways is just one of those things. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, that would fit. Like, especially for, well, You Shall Not Pass, which has the giant cliffs. Also, I played the Golden Peak last time, and there were many items I was bringing down off the hill, and aerial ropeway and just be able to ship iron directly down the hill rather than having a truck made sense. Made a lot of sense. All right. So yeah, they're just things I would like to see in the game over trains, because trains, although maybe a good idea, I can definitely see there's going to be a lot of problems with fitting trains on the island. Although now the islands are 25 times the size, maybe not, or potentially 25 times the size. All right. Speaking of that, are you guys going to release that special map with 25 new havens?
Well, not yet. But once the map editor is out, maybe someone can recreate that.
I just want a big test map for blueprints, 25 of those sounds like enough area that I could probably build everything I want. Mr. Joshua with Team Train. Dev, cab, set logistic limit areas for trucks and use trains or ships to break through between logistics areas. Yes, that could work as well. I agree with Philip. There's more time needed to flesh out the middle of the game before trains are added. Highways probably the same. Roads, maybe not, because I think roads are fairly highly crested. Transport. You want the game to combine two of my favorites, Transport Fever 2 and Captive Industry. Yeah, don't hold your breath. Or give them time, because that was the other thing I want to mention. You guys are what? You did Kickstarter, and then 3 months later you had the alpha out, and then 3 months after that you had beta out, And then 6 months after that, you guys hit early access on Steam. And we're now 12 months from you guys doing early access on Steam. And you have update 1, which is, compared to a lot of other development teams, large and small, this is a big update.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Yeah, and it's also a very fast development cycle, because you guys are really moving. Like, seeing a major update within 12 months is not exactly common.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't know what to say.
Interesting.
He doesn't know what to say.
Well, I thought that updates sometimes come more regularly, but are smaller.
Maybe lots of smaller
Hello,
updates.
my friend.
Yeah.
Stay a while and listen.
Well, yeah, it's been really rough. We worked really hard over the last 2 years.
Hello, my
It was
friend.
exciting as well.
Stay
See the
a
game
while
growing.
and listen.
It was really nice, and also. It might look like that we started working on the update 1 after we launched the game, but the reality was that the first 6 months until probably January,
Hello, my friend.
we were really
Stay a
focusing
while and listen.
on the game, on the quality of life. We were smashing bugs and everything. So the real work on update 1 started probably after January, because
So it's only been 4 months.
January. Yeah, well, partially January as well. It's actually. To be honest, the whole team started working on February, but some started earlier. For instance, I was adding the blueprints on January because we realized, well, if we're gonna break save files, we should give people blueprints, and so they can at least transfer some of their designs. It was kind of unexpected. But yeah, so before that we were doing lots of quality of life features, improving logistics, improving performance. It's
Yes,
kind of tricky because it's, you can't put it like a big PR stunt, like, look at our massive update, because it wasn't new content basically. So I'm really excited that the update 1 is out and we can add new content, because I think that's what really people wanted.
Oh yeah, look, I've had access for about a week now, as many have on Discord, doing the bug testing. I haven't had a chance to play much in that week, but I've had a chance to spot some bugs, find some bugs, see the updates, and also mainly look through the recipe and look at all the many changes. And there's been a lot. There's been an awful lot of changes for update 1. And also I'm getting to play with things for the first time. Like, you guys brought out bricks and blueprints, and I haven't played with bricks or blueprints at this point. I just never had a chance when they came out. And yeah, it's well, bricks I'm finding interesting so far. That combined with the changes to concrete, it's going to make my playthrough very, very different. Yeah, wasn't expecting both at the same time. Starless, I have.
Just add to that, the bricks we did them to make the early game more palatable for new players.
Yeah,
so they are not overwhelmed.
Yeah, I understand the change. I played through alpha, which had bricks much the same, and then pre-alpha, and then I missed the alpha, and then I played the beta, and then I played early access, and then suddenly there's about bricks in the way. Yeah, it's a different experience. So chat's asking all sorts of questions. Yes, the maps are technically the same size they were previously. So this is the Insula Mortis map, the wonderful Skull Island, and the map is technically the exact same size, but the difference is we can now dump much further out to the map. So if I just grab a dump tool, and I don't actually want you guys to dump this, guys, so we're going to cut it off from land, and yep, hang on, we'll find the edge. It's here somewhere. That's now the edge, which is much further out than it used to be. Also, I do need to mention that during the Canary early access section, that depth kept sliding all the way out. So I have no idea how deep this is out here. Minus 30. It was much deeper than minus 30 if you got into the very, very early builds. Yeah. I remember seeing somebody with a map with, I think it was minus 50 or minus 80. I'm like, God, that's going to take a while to fill. Yeah, that's far. That is much further than ever before. I hit the edge on Golden Peak a number of times, so yeah, it's a lot further out. All right. Update finally hit, not for another 30 minutes. Okay, so new question. Update number 1. What missed getting in update number 1? We know the map editor didn't come in, but what else missed getting in the update? What do you wish got into the update and didn't quite make it? That's now been pushed update too.
It's an interesting question. It's probably we could have added more props, maybe some more variety of trees, but yeah, it was lots of work, and we had to work on the shaders to accommodate that.
So when Philip says props, he's talking about these rocks that are now sitting out here.
Yeah.
They're new. They're also in your way, just so you know.
Yeah, you can build over them. It's all right. But we added them to kind of break the green field that you start with. It doesn't, this kind of golf course.
You can build over them, but trucks can't drive through them.
Trucks can't. Yes. They typically can't drive through rocks, I think, in real world as well.
Generally, but it's a bit frustrating. My truck can't drive through a rock, but I can build over the rock.
Yes, or you can mine it away. You can put mining designations there. So we would like to add more props and maybe variety of trees and maybe also leaf trees. So that's what we didn't get to. And obviously the map editor. And probably also some particle effects. We wanted to add more particle effects for terrain and for mining. So that will come later.
So more pretties. I like pretties.
Yeah.
Pretties make the screenshots better.
My little ambition was also to move so right now the products for settlement, they're stockpiled in the modules. Mm-hmm. I wanted to move them to the housing, so each housing would have its own stockpile, which means that you wouldn't have to be scared that you suddenly paused a food module or that you destroyed it, or and you would get more supply in the settlement. But it was a big rewrite, so we didn't get to it as well. So those were like these things we had on the wish list for update 1.
Okay. Luke Clan is asking, is it going to be a discount for update 1 launch?
Yes.
Oh yes.
I think it should be. Unless Steam doesn't remove it, they shouldn't. So it's set up there. So as long as Philip clicks the right button,
as long as Marek clicks the right buttons, yes. If not, blame Marek.
Yeah, I think it should be 20%.
Wow.
I think less. I hope he didn't set more. It should be 20% less. Yes.
Hope he didn't set more. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Hello, my friend.
I
Stay a
as
while
one that
and
takes a lot of
listen.
screenshots, doesn't spend a lot of time looking at the beauty of a game, but does stop and take screenshots. I can definitely appreciate that my camera is now free to get very low to the ground and zoom right the way in. Also, I could clip through the ground. I think that might be fixed. Can I have my clipping through the ground back, please? I like that feature. Isn't today the anniversary? Is it?
Tomorrow. It technically would be tomorrow.
Yeah. I think it wasn't today. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. Congratulations. 1 year of early access, and already we have a major update coming out with a discount. All right. Okay, so other questions I have. Multiplayer. Multiplayer was always asked about. It was always rumored in the early access, depending on, I think, whether you guys said if the game did well, it might have multiplayer in the future. Is that still the case? Has any decisions been made?
It's still possible. It's just we need to make it happen and get there and be alive.
Okay. Because a follow-up question that I had from my lovely viewers, because my lovely viewers like picking on me when I'm playing Factorio, is they've asked for Twitch integration. Random pirate attacks, random building falls over. The friendly sort of stuff. which
Yeah.
that's what their request was. I'm happy if you forget to do that, because if my rocket silo falls over, I think I'm going to quit.
Yeah. Yeah. We, to be honest, we haven't looked into this at all, so no idea. Yeah. But regarding multiplayer, this is probably new, but we were building the game with multiplayer in our mind. So there are certain steps we took up front.
Okay.
But doesn't still mean we are.
So
it's just
we've
flipping a
planned
flag.
for
We still are
multiplayer,
far.
therefore multiplayer is a possibility, but we haven't done anything about actually getting multiplayer in the game.
Yes.
Yes, because I can tell you from talking to many, many devs, if you don't plan for multiplayer up front, it's never happening. It's never happening.
Yeah.
Blowing up a jetty or bombardment on a random part of the island. Yeah, thanks, chat. Okay. And this was a top-notch question as far as I was concerned. How long will it take for Jetty to be able to break the game? Philip, give us your predictions.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while
I don't
and
know.
listen.
5 days.
5 days? 5 days? For the record, I've already
that
posted
too much?
3 bug reports, and I've only played for about 5 hours.
I mean, like really break, really.
Oh no,
really
they're not catastrophic. Yeah, they're not horrible bugs or anything. It's just everybody else has been playing for a week plus, and I've got 5 hours in, 3 bug reports. So I'm doing all right so far.
Yeah.
Jim just says 2 days.
I fixed one actually today. Yeah, I fixed one of your bugs.
Oh, which one?
Was the tree planting that wasn't locked by the crop rotation and.
Oh, okay, yeah, because it turns out in the tech tree, if you researched tree planting, which is here somewhere, here somewhere, but you had unlocked crop rotation, you could actually create saplings to plant trees. So Odd Crazy Stuff asks, can you do nuclear without any waste once you have the full chain? I believe the answer is yes. Well...
yes. Well, technically you have to go through the fission product, which... case in 100 years, so you will have waste for 100 years always, but after 100 years it's gone. That's it. Yeah, it's pretty much probably overpowered compared to real nuclear chains, but yeah, you will not have any other waste.
That's okay. We're allowed to have a little bit of it overpowered on our self-sustaining islands that just import everything from the neighbors, even though the neighbors obviously can't keep up with that forever, but that's okay because we keep sending them computers and they keep sending us quartz and everything's fine. Don't question it. Yep, it's fine. Look, I'm very, very happy we have the ability to have self-sustaining with nuclear power, because I know I tried to go self-sustaining and then ran out of performance, but because I'd already built nuclear, I was already running nuclear, I knew like I'd have to remove all that, put down an awful lot of solar, so yes, that idea got dropped very quickly. That, and I also was running at 10 frames, which has also been fixed. That is, till I build too much.
I wouldn't say fixed. It's always how far you can push it. I think we definitely improved that, especially Jeremy. He improved the transports. They're now basically chopped into pieces and instanced, so that improved performance. So I think as long as you're looking at a reasonable region of the map, it should work well. Obviously, zooming out is always tricky, but we'll keep working on that. There's more opportunities, definitely.
Hello,
I will keep breaking it.
Stay
You keep
a while.
improving it. We can
Listen.
come to some sort of agreement that eventually I'll stop building. Eventually. You know? Yeah.
Okay.
Eventually. I don't know when that is, but eventually I'll stop building. Okay, I've got a question from chat. What about events based on population, like they would like some amount of anything in exchange for uni or another
Hello,
item?
my
So we already
friend.
have
Stay a while and
diseases,
listen.
which occasionally, well, they kick in on a 3-year cycle unless that's changed. Has that changed?
I think that was extended. I think that's now more.
Okay.
Maybe 5 years. I'm not sure.
So we had a disease. Everybody got the flu every couple of years. Yeah. So that's still as is, right? We're going to have like when the calendar rolls around to 2020, we get COVID and everybody gets sick at the same time.
Yeah.
Yep. That's confirmed. Dev's going to add that. Be careful of 2020. Yeah, it's going to be a great year.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. We've done bugs, Twitch integration, transport methods. The map editor that didn't make it. When should we expect it? When should we start harassing you, being like, where is our map editor? Where is the good old map editor?
Yeah, well, I don't want to promise deadlines. Otherwise, like the rest of our team, they wouldn't like to work with me anymore.
So just a clarification, they do like to work with you currently?
Hello, my friend. Stay
Maybe,
a while
yeah,
and listen.
okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah, all right, yeah.
Let me fix this. They would even less likely like to work with me. So, so the deadline it's not clear. It turned out that the editor is huge, and what is huge is making it user friendly. Like right now. These maps require a lot of knowledge in how we place these things because it's generated, but you have to set up the things together so it generates what you want.
Hello, my friend.
And
Stay a while
so
and
that
listen.
will be I don't know, like we'll need to refine it and it's done. It's tricky to put a deadline on that, but it's our priority, and I think that it shouldn't take a year, definitely.
So, clarification for anybody who hasn't actually sat behind the dev desk and actually tried to do dev work. Making a map editor is not too hard. Making a map editor that players can understand and use, that's where life gets really, really, really difficult. And well, the follow-up question I had is we have the Crater map, which is a supporter-only DLC. Obviously, when the map editor comes out, there's going to be some sort of,
Hello,
copyright
my friend.
protection on that map,
Stay
right?
a while
Or
and
is people just
listen.
going to be able to duplicate the map and run from there?
Well, I don't know, to be honest. Like, usually people don't do that, or like the modding community typically, I don't know, doesn't try to copy maps or content, but I don't have an answer for that. I mean,
don't have an answer?
are we going to run around and take down maps because they look similar? I don't think we are, Monster Drink.
No. For the record, you guys have been one of the best devs I've worked with. I've worked with plenty of devs, and
Thank you.
Hello,
some have
my
been
friend.
great, some have been
Stay
less
a
than
while
great.
and
You guys have been
listen.
awesome. All right. I propose a mod for City Skylines that generates captive industry maps. The problem is you need to generate everything under the surface. And I don't think City Skylines will quite do that for you. All right. McRib, I thought I did. Sorry.
Actually, maybe one interesting technical note on the editor, if you're curious. I don't know, maybe.
I'm always curious. I'm always curious to know more about this game.
Stop me if I'll talk too much, but basically the map is generated as a set of functions. So there's a function that defines a mountain and that defines some plateau and stuff like this. And so, but when you generate the map, it's stored as a 3D array. So every two cubic meters are a record entry in that array. So you end up with a large array in the memory. So the map normally probably takes 500 megabytes. The larger map would take a gigabyte in your memory. And now the advantage of this approach where we generate the map with functions is that the map has just few kilobytes because it's just a set of functions how you generate the map.
The map is all maths.
It's all maths, exactly. Yeah. And what is nice about this is that you can have 10 maps downloaded and it doesn't take 10 gigabytes on your hard drive. And so that's why these typical editors where you just place things on top of each other in a 3D array wouldn't work here. And that's why our editor is a little bit special in that case.
So, but couldn't you make just to roll back a second, couldn't you make an editor that lets you build an island from the ground up and then convert that data into those functions to get the map size down to then, from that point... Yep. No, maybe
that would be pretty hard. I think that would be pretty hard. I don't think that's possible.
Okay. Because I know the hardest thing about making a map editor is making a user interface where a user can actually use it. rather than, you know, having to be a dev with several years of experience and happy to smash your head against a wall for several hours to fix the little hole that happened to be in the Gold Mountain on the sand beach on the left-hand side. Because Marek said, yeah, I'll fix that later. It never got fixed.
Yeah, well, but I'm so much looking forward to the map editor because I'm really curious what the community will create. I'm really excited to try these maps myself.
Is dumb question, will the game get the possibility set to 4K or even UHD? Far as I know, you can already run the game at 4K.
I only play in 4K, to be honest.
There you go. There you go. I do everything in 1440, but only because there's very little point, from my point of view, of going up to 4K for content creation, because the files just get massive. But yeah, as far as I know, even in the previous update, it would do 4K. It's now a lot prettier at 4K, don't get me wrong, especially when we can zoom all the way into everything. I love this. I love this. What are the plans for higher tiers now? More things for the tech tree. That's another question. Tech tree, tech tree, tech tree. When do we get the rest of the tech tree? When do we get to launch rockets, not just to a sounding rocket, a testing rocket? It's now called a testing rocket. It used to be called a sounding rocket. Why did the name change?
Sure. Was sounding rocket? Really?
I'm sure it was.
Don't think so, but no.
Okay. Sounding rocket, testing rocket, doesn't matter. When do we get more stuff? When do we get the rest of the tree? Like, we've had the fast nuclear, the fast breeding nuclear reactor. When do we get rocket to Moon, Mars, Jupiter? All the things that were in the alpha and the beta builds that got dropped for early access. That didn't work. For clarification, they didn't work.
A rocket to Mars.
No, there was a Stargate.
Yeah. It was a Stargate. You're right. Well, there was a idea for ending and story, and there was a Stargate, and so actually, let's backtrack a bit. When we were testing the alpha, I had the space program in. I was actually playing the game with space program.
Oh, hang on, stop. When do I get that copy?
I think that's long gone.
Oh no!
But the thing is, it wasn't really ready. It was just a UI mockup. Like it's even worse than the world map with the ships. It was really a mockup. But we were kind of testing it that the rockets basically they worked like trucks or buses, and they entirely reshaped the economy on the island because suddenly the scale was crazy. Like suddenly you need to scale everything up. It was amazing, and I think that's super cool, but it was just far from ready and we couldn't put that in. And we also realized that it's really not about chasing more and more end game content at this point. We need to make sure that people actually get there.
Yeah.
And so for that we need, quality of life and have the game fun through the whole session. So that's why we're not focusing on it at this point. And nothing is promised because we thought we're gonna, finish the space and maybe the game is close to done.
Hello, my friend.
It's not, but
Stay a while and
but
listen.
suddenly we're adding things that we didn't expect to be adding. So priorities change, and it's great because the community gives feedback, and we then reprioritize what we're gonna do. The community affected lots of things we've done in the last year.
Yeah, well, I've seen the community is very, very active. I know this because I'm part of the community. I'm posting videos left, right, and center. So yeah, I'm curious where you guys are going. I'm also curious. Like now we've got update 1 due out in 15 minutes. 15 minutes is getting very, very close. My follow-up question is when's update 2? Obviously, and what's planned for update 2?
Oh, sure. Let me give you the exact date.
Good. Well, it's been a year. I expect it's going to be another year, right? It's right on course for another year.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know how we're gonna label the editor. So maybe we're gonna add a few things the editor and label it as update 2. I don't know, to be honest. That still didn't pan out yet. So.
Well, update 2. Oh, I'm sorry. The editor sounds like it's on the list, but it's going to be a bit bigger project than you guys had planned for originally. So, yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm excited for it because I'm very, very much excited for what the community comes up with. But it definitely sounds like it's going to be not next week.
Yeah, definitely.
definitely.
By the way, JD,
Yep.
I'm just curious. What is your what is like the feature you find most exciting in update 1?
For me, it's been the improved graphics. Now, I'm not somebody who stares and ogles at the graphics of a game, and I'm sure everybody. Boomer, I think I've got that done. I've already set it down. I've already turned down the volume for the notifications like 3 times. It just didn't stick. I was very, very excited for. So I'm not one to stare at the graphics, but I'm very, very excited that we can now zoom right the way in. We can look at all the graphics very, very up close and personal, because I like the ability to be able to swing the camera anywhere, and just normal camera can get a lot closer than it used to. I love the weather effects. Where is I need it to rain right now, game, please rain right now. I love the weather effects. I love the fog. I do want to be able to turn it off, for taking screenshots. I want to press the button and have all the fog disappear. That'd be cool. And probably the nuclear reactors. Honestly, I'm really excited to get into, well, all the nuclear reactors and all the nuclear reactor setups, but that's going to obviously take some time, because it's not easy to get into. So that's another one I'm excited to play with and look at. They're probably the big ones, actually. Yeah. Yeah, nuclear is definitely on the top of the list, I think. I'm excited to work out how. I know how a plane reactor works. I worked out from the blog post and decoded the recipe chain for the nuclear reprocessing plant. But I have no idea how all the chains go together. I know what the recipes are, but I don't know how the whole lot goes together. So I'm interested in getting the MOX reactor up and running, and then, of course, the fast breeding reactor. Zuff says vertical pipes. Vertical pipes, they're going to be handy for oil refineries, definitely, but not super high on my list. But speaking of pipes, when do we get to color pipes?
What pipes?
Color
pipes. Oh, color pipes.
Yeah. I want to paint the oil pipe black, and diesel pipe, I don't know, yellow and
black.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something we want to look into as well. Well, there was a discussion whether this should be done automatically or manually, and that's not clear to us at this point. But it's definitely something we want to look into, because I very much know how tricky it is to try to figure out where each pipe is going. I even have one thing in my mind that we need to probably add. But yeah, the coloring should probably happen. Definitely should happen.
There you go. We've got a dev. They've confirmed it. Okay. Part of update 1 is going to be colored pipes. Yes. Right, Philip?
In the update launching in 10 minutes? Yeah.
No. Sometime over the update 1 history. Yes. Question, Philip. Will there be a game setting or a map design for E? It's something more for giving people that enjoy factory games but aren't necessarily good at them. Mastercraft, I can say that New Haven is pretty easy. And if you set it at sailor difficulty, I find it not to be a challenge, because I have set up a test map on that a few times to get things done.
This is actually something we want to look into as well. We getting lots of feedback that people just want to chill, and they don't care about the immersion of running out of food and fuel. And so I think we're gonna explore some mode or possibility how to play this game differently without affecting the normal modes, obviously. So that's definitely on table.
Okay, sandbox.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think turning off maintenance would probably be as close to a sandbox mode as I'd personally want to see, because that removes a large percentage of the factory goes into updating and keeping maintenance up.
But the nice thing about maintenance is that it keeps the factory alive. That's why we like the maintenance.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. And how about wave power? Oh, that's a good point. Now the waves look a lot better. All right. We get some tidal generators.
But I think I in real world they really don't give you much. That's the issue with that, and the shorelines, they're pretty expensive. You probably want to put cargo depots there and stuff. So I don't know. I wasn't really high on the list, to be honest.
Don't know. On the island I'm on, it seems they have plenty of shoreline. Probably too much, honestly.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. I've got War Machine saying colored pipes. Ideally, a choice between automatic and manual would be best. Sometimes I might want to set my colors based on where the pipe is going as well. Different shades, blue depending on what water it goes, what water line goes where. I would like to see just manual colors. Just give me manual colors. Especially, I know it was a problem previously. I'm assuming it's still a problem that if you name a pipe and then upgrade or add to the pipe, it loses the name. If that can be fixed, that means the color can also be fixed. Yeah.
Well, that's fixed because you can no longer name the pipes.
Oh, okay. That's how they fixed it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was not the fix I was looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Life's not easy, JD.
Yeah, I know, especially when I have content creators like me who keep breaking the game over and over. I may have spent too many construction parts. It's fine. Does landfill still get voided at the edge of the map? Also, somebody said you can't build docks at the edge of the map. Good question. I assume landfill still gets voided when it falls off the edge of the map?
Yeah, so the way the edge of the map now works is that there's basically a protection layer around that still is the real terrain, but we won't allow you to build there. And things fall there, and if they reach certain threshold, we just start discarding them. So you're not able to build a wall that touches nothing, basically. And we also fixed the depots. So because of this protection zone, when you dump to the edge of the map, you can still place depot, because previously this was a trap.
Yes.
I just didn't know that people will dump so much. People are so obsessed with dump. They want to kill every piece of water that's in the game.
Well, look, we tried to kill every piece of water and every tree, and now you've forced us to bring the trees back. You know, you're bringing back the real enemy. Obviously, at least we need to be able to get rid of all the water. All right. I have one more important question. This is the most important question. This is one I promised everybody I'd ask. When are we going to bilge pump? So when I accidentally flood the crater map, I can at least put a pump in there and start draining it out.
With single pump.
one pump, that's all I need. One pump, a nuclear reactor, we're good for the next 10,000 years, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think that question ties to when we're gonna have a dynamic simulated water, because right now it's very simplified, and the answer is, well, it costs performance a lot. So first of all, we would have to be in really, really good shape on performance and have everything super polished and super fast. And then we would need to find some tricks how to simulate water on the island in some efficient way. We actually used to have dynamic water in the initial prototype of the engine.
Oh, wow.
And it was also fully mixed. So it was mixing and creating if you would dump waste into water, it would be a mixed one and it would flow on the terrain. Obviously, it was a demo, and when you start putting this on big islands into endgame, then that's just breaks down very quickly, because
was
it's
that
just
in
millions
the
of
pre-alpha?
files. It never made it public.
Okay.
It was just, I think, was second year when we worked on the game, and then we were like, yeah, we need to pull it out. It's just too many things at once.
Okay, so I got two more quick questions, because I know you're running out of time. Chance of getting balances to stack on top of each other, which I believe Marek indicated was possibly going to happen.
Yeah, I think it could happen. I noticed that this was coming frequently, together with the vertical belts, the lifts. So these are kind of, I would say, quality of life for conveyors. So yeah, it's definitely something we can explore.
And then the other one is Ritmo asks, any chance of getting oil at sea? Not like Curland at sea, but where we can actually put a little oil rig out in the sea and grab the oil that way, along with wind power.
Right.
The trees no longer move with wind because they removed the wind from the game, so I don't know if wind power will work.
Yeah, the wind we removed because Unity was giving us hard times.
Yeah.
We might remove it. We might edit later. But we used Unity's wind and it was killing frames. That's why we pulled it away. But we have wind on grass, for instance, when you look at it. So, so we might extend it to trees. The wind power, I don't know. Maybe something we could also explore. But then, if it's offshore, then it collides with ships. So it's if offshore windmills or anything comes, we need to somehow figure out how we're gonna handle the cargo ships. And
well, obviously they're going to do exactly what they do currently, and that's power slide right through them, right?
you remember Alpha, right? When they just went through the island.
Yes, we remember the land ships.
Cool.
The land ships were a great feature, a wonderful feature. If you build a dock in the right spot, they could drive right through the island.
Yeah, it was cute, yeah.
yeah, land ships were great, especially when they went through the factory. I miss land ships. See, Big Wolf Chris remembers. Oh, yes, Fox has asked, because this has been on my list, in-game mod browser. Because I know you guys already have mods, mainly on the Discord server. I don't know if there's a website available on top of that, but a mod browser. So are you guys planning to just have the Steam mod integration via the workshop? Are you guys planning an in-game mod browser more like Factorio? What's the plan? Is there a plan?
Good question. I don't know. So the Steam workshop is tricky. It seems a bit limited.
It is. It is. I know that much.
So, yeah. So we're not sure. There's either we use some website that specializes in providing like mods for games. Some games use these. I think like Timberborn is using something, and some other games as well. Or we'll have to build something out ourselves. It's not clear at this point.
I can't remember the one for Timberborn. Dyson Sphere uses the same one. And chat's not being helpful. By the way, the update is out. Marek is ahead of time. Nexus, yes.
Oh.
Nexus mods. Mod.io, never heard of mod.io. Steam Workshop is super nice. You say that, but then mods like the ones on Oxygen not included are horrible. Bellpex, yeah, Bellpex or something like that. Yeah, there's a couple of different words. Thunderstorm, it's all the same thing. R2 Modman, yeah. It's all the same backbone. But yeah, I personally, after seeing Factorio's implementation, I love that idea. It does mean you guys have to host the mods yourself, which I don't know is part of the plan, the great plan or not. But yeah, the Factorio has implemented mod management very, very well, and it also means they're not stuck with the Steam architecture. Because I know other games that have launched to Steam and then looked at launching elsewhere later have had issues because, well, yeah, they're stuck with the Steam integration for their mods, which means when they launch to a different platform like Epic or GOG or whatever, suddenly their mods don't work on those platforms.
Yeah. I think that like also the issue is sometimes the versioning. That's also tricky, right? I think Steam doesn't give you mods versioning properly.
Oh no, they don't. They don't. It's just mod. Yeah, that's it. Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah.
When dev updates mod, you auto download, and that's it. All right. Well, the update is officially out, so it means everybody's going and refreshing Steam as fast as possible, and that means you need to go click buttons, I believe. Yes.
Yes, I'll need to click buttons. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for joining me for this first hour. It's been great. I look forward
to having me.
Update 1 and getting my teeth into it, and also update 2. Like, we're gonna have update 2, right?
Yeah.
Update 2, like 6 months, a year.
I don't know, JD. I don't know. It's the map editor is coming definitely.
Map editor is coming. There we go.
So yeah, that's less than a year. I promise.
Less than a year. He's promised. Write it down. Clip it.
Yeah.
Okay. We're in a year's time. It's not out. We can post it in Discord. There you go. All right. Thank you, Philip. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you in 12 months for update 2. Any
I'll
DLC
see
planned? There's
you
already
in all
DLC.
And I'll see you in all the bug reports you're gonna file on me soon.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm at least nice and provide you video files with the bug reports normally and a save file. So yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, and I'll let you get
Thank you so
on
much,
with
JD.
launching the update. Not a problem. It's been a blast.
Cool. Cool. Have fun.
All
See
right.
you, and thank you everyone for watching and listening to us.
Yep. And letting me borrow the like over here at Twitch where we don't have a like, but you know it's appreciated nonetheless.
Yes, please borrow JD's some likes, please.
Yes. All right, mate. I'll catch up with you later. Bye.
Yep. Take care.
And that brings us to the end of the interview. Again, thank you, Philip, for joining me. It was a blast. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Please tell me down in the comment section, do you want to see more interviews like this? I do talk to a lot of different developers about their games, and I've never really asked many of them to actually do an interview. So tell me down in the comments below, would you like to see more interviews like this with different developers of games that I've covered, games that I plan on covering, all that sort of stuff. At the same time, I do want to mention very, very quickly that if you want to see the rest of the playthrough on Death Island, you can swing by and catch me on Twitch on the weekends, live every weekend, or you can always head over to the Raw channel, the Jedi Raw channel for raw and uncut content, and you can hit subscribe there because, well, there is all the Captain Mystery Let's Play for the Death Island. It'll end up over there. Normally it's about 24, 36 hours after live streams end. They end up on the secondary channel. Anyway, with all that said, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the very next video. All right, bye.